How you guys doing? My name is Matthew Thomas, and I'm gonna be doing a little podcast on Michigan's recent success in the NCAA tournament. A lot of people said that they basically wrote off Michigan, saying they were NIT bound, and you know they shouldn't be in the tournament. Well, these last couple games, they're starting to prove other people wrong. This first game here, I didn't really think, it was gonna be much of a problem. Well, early in the first quarter, there was a time where Michigan went down by 15. Things looked like they were starting to get out of hand. Juwan Howard, he does this rotation that I do not understand. I know many people don't understand it, but he'll have three power forwards in the game with no point guard, and yeah, it just doesn't seem to work out. He had so that specific rotation, he had Buffkin in, who was 0 for 2, 0 for 1. He's a rookie though. He came in, he made two free throws late, whatever. He had Buffkin, Brandon Johns, who was just terrible. I mean, 13 minutes and doesn't he doesn't do anything for us. Brandon Johns, Terrence Williams, he's solid. He's a good bench piece. Musa Diabate, who was playing super soft this game. I don't know why. And then the fifth was Eli Brooks. So right there, you don't. No, it wasn't. It was Caleb Houston. You don't have a point guard. And the game it was a close game. Michigan was they were fighting with Colorado State. They had a very slow start. A lot of freshman jitters. It happens in these tournaments. But they they just went down by 15 early, and it looked like the game was starting to get out of hand. Well, then they called timeout, and then he brought Frankie Collins in the game. Frankie had a quick bucket and a foul. He made his free throw, quick 3-point play, and then very next possession he got a steal and an easy layup. So boom, 5-point swing right there. Went down by 10. They ended the half. I believe it was like a 13-4 run or something, which then they cut the lead down 7. They cut the lead down 7. Which you go to the team stats, they were 4 for 14, but in the first half they were 0 for 7. They were 0 for 7 from 3, and Colorado State had made 8 threes in the first half. No, it doesn't show that here, but take my word for it. So Colorado State had 24 points on three-pointers, and they only scored 35 and a half. So to be down, or 36, my bad. So to be down by only 7 with that start is just great for Michigan. And then Juwan, he made great halftime adjustments. Michigan came out strong. Obviously, they shot the ball a lot better, shooting 4 for 7 from 3 in the second half. I know Caleb Houston had 3 of them. Yeah, Caleb Houston, he had 3. He had 3 in the second half, and then Frankie hit 1 as well. They closed out the game strong, and then they finished the game making their free throws. This Michigan team, unlike former Michigan teams, which this Michigan team is really good from the free throw line. 19 for 22 this game. And if you look at this next game. This next game, they hit 7 free throws in a row late to clinch it. This game was back and forth the whole entire game. Um, this play right here, this this was a huge play. Down only up by 2 points, minute left in the game. Tennessee was they were coming back. Michigan was down by 5, like down with like 3 minutes left. Terrence Williams has a huge putback layup. A guy that I think should get a lot more minutes, especially with the poor play of Brandon Johns. Terrence Williams should be the first guy off the bench every time. Um, he had 9 points, huge 9 points. He had two putbacks. One was a putback layup, one was a putback dunk. He had a 3 in the first half, that was big. And then late in the game, he had 2 clutch free throws, which him, Musa Diabate, Hunter Dickinson, and Eli Brooks all made their free throws when they got fouled late, because Tennessee was just trying to play the foul game, and it just was not working for Tennessee. And this play right here, I believe, clinched the game. Down by or only up by 2, time winding down, and Eli Brooks he does this. Hook shot, like old school, like Kareem. Which that shot he probably learned from a former Michigan point guard, Xavier Simpson. He was big with the hook shots. Now go to the box score. Caleb Houston, 0 points. 0 for 4, 0 for 3 from 3. Like, this guy was a 5-star freshman coming out of high school. I understand he's an early enrollee. You know, he's still young, but he's gotta produce in this next game if they want to stay alive in this tournament. You know, Diabate 5 for 10. You know, he had a solid game, 13. Hunter Dickinson, you know, he's just proves why he's the best player on the court every time he goes on the court. 8 for 10 from the line, which is big. 3 for 5 from 3, which you're not going to get that every single time out of him. He was 8 for 13 from the field. You know, Michigan, you know, the first half, they really weren't utilizing him in the paint much. They were trying to, you know, spread him out, and it was working for the most part. You know, he was 3 for 5, which was huge. Eli Brooks, another 2 for 5. He's another shooter. But in this, Devontae Jones, you know, he got hurt. He was out. He was out last game versus Colorado State with a concussion. Got a concussion in practice, and then he got injured again this game. Hopefully, he gets to come back because this is his first tournament. And for someone to have their first tournament and not be able to play, it's gotta suck. You know, he's a senior. I know he's a grad transfer from Coastal Carolina. They don't really make the tournament much over there, so hopefully he can play in this next game because he's gonna be big if he does play. I was saying Terrence Williams off the bench, only 14 minutes. He went 3 for 5 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. This other 3 was really like it wasn't a great shot. He kind of forced it. So he's 1 for 2 from 3, 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 2 huge free throws. I believe it was in Michigan. I think they were up by like 1 or 2 late in the game. Will come to the line with a 1-and-1. So that means if you miss the first one, play on. But you know he comes to the line, he makes both. There's huge 9 points off the bench. And then Brandon Johnson, 8 minutes, which I believe is too many minutes. He just shouldn't. He shouldn't have. This guy should not come in the game. This guy right here should not come in the game. He's a senior. He's played terrible all year. I mean, one steal. That's all he's got to his name. One steal and one personal foul in 8 minutes. Like, that's terrible. You're a big man. Go up, get fouled, make make a layup, make a free throw. You got to do something. He's just not been doing anything this game. But yeah, it was a great win out of Michigan. You know, they shot 37% from three, which could be better, could be worse, could be a lot worse. 50% from the field, which is always good, and then 16 for 20 from the line, which is also solid. This guy is a 65% free throw shooter, so he's bound to miss them. Hunter Dickinson, another big man. He's shooting 10 free throws, make 8 of them. It's a good game. Eli, he's automatic from the free throw line. Hey, look at Tennessee. They shot 2 for 18 from 3, which I believe was the big was Michigan just closing out on all the shooters. Like this Vescovy guy, he was 2 for 7 from, or 1 for 5 from 3. If you look at Tennessee's last game before this versus Longwood, yeah, box score, they were 14 for 24. So they shot 58% from 3 this game. If you look at Vescovy, he was 6 for 8 from 3. So Michigan had a plan. Every time Vescovy touched the ball, you had to be in his face. Couldn't let him breathe. And they executed that for the most part, it was a good back and forth. The back and forth game, the whole game. Now, if you look at Michigan's next game, which is going to be against Villanova, look at the preview for it. Right here. So this is CBS Sports. Michigan's going against Villanova. I believe they're a 5-point underdog. I think I saw that earlier today. Michigan's gonna have to, they're gonna have to. I think the only way they win this game is if Caleb Houston or Eli Brooks They um they have to be a big factor because Hunter Dickinson's gonna do what he does in the paint. He's gonna have somebody to be able to kick it out to, and Eli Brooks and Caleb Houston gotta have big games. If Devontae Jones can't go, it's not the end of the world because Frankie Collins, he's been solid. See right there, -5. Frankie Collins has played huge these last two games. First game he was pretty much perfect until late in the second half. I mean, he was like 7 for 7 from the field, 1 for 1 from three. Played a great game. Last game he had 30 minutes off the bench, great minutes. He just causes havoc on the defensive end. He's fast, he's quick, he knows how to pat. He's a great playmaker. He can finish at the hoop. Yeah, he's what you need in a point guard. Um, I personally believe Michigan should be able to win this game. They just they just gotta they just gotta hit their shots. That's all it's gonna come down to. If they go cold like they did against Colorado State, probably not gonna win. They got to start out quick. They got to start out hot. They got to have Villanova on their toes. And yeah, I believe they'll be able to win this game. That's gonna do it for this little Michigan podcast. Yeah, thank you.